Yeah, this is the way you get that old rumor about heat lightning, right? You can see all the lightning in the distance, but you can't hear those rumbles of thunder. Well, heat lightning is a myth, but this lightning that you're seeing out there is real. It's along the coast right now in those thunderstorms that we're seeing off to the south. So even though you can see that lightning really from the North Shore, on my drive in this morning, I was able to see it. It's all along the coast. So we don't have those storms inland yet. Coastal areas along southern Terrebonne, southern Lafourche are seeing some rain and even some thunderstorm activity. But right now, I expect that most of the area is clear and calm, and temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, right about where they were yesterday. Now, yesterday we got into the upper 90s. Today, I think it's going to be a struggle. We'll get to around the 90-degree mark this afternoon with some storms in the forecast. I expect that we'll see stormy conditions tomorrow as well, with less stormy conditions and possibly some lower humidity by the middle of the week. Christy? As you mentioned, John, are getting quite the lightning show. And, you know, oftentimes the myth of heat lightning kind of starts around seeing that lightning in the distance, but not being able to hear that thunder. Heat lightning isn't a real thing. Real lightning is a real thing. There are storms along the coast right now, and they are producing quite a bit of lightning. So if you are in Mandeville, Slidell, New Orleans, Houma, looking to your south and seeing lightning there, that's real lightning. Those are real storms. They're just not close enough for you to hear those rumbles of thunder. We are going to see those storms again staying along the coast for the early part of the morning. The high resolution forecast model starting to pick up on that a little bit, but we are expecting throughout the day we'll see some storms slowly crossing the area, especially into the afternoon hours. Watch how that rain really develops. And again, some will be heavy downpours. There may be training of storms today because of the nature of why these storms are developing. Interesting point I want to point out here. This is 9 p.m. this evening, and you see storms flared up all across the North Shore. Not necessarily going to be exactly where those storms are this evening, but worth noting there are evening storms and even overnight storms because this is not your typical summertime pattern, right? In early August, we don't usually have a front sitting over us, but that's exactly what we have, a cold front sitting right over us. And because it has slowed down pretty dramatically, we are going to see today and tomorrow being days where storms are kind of flaring up along that frontal boundary. You can see tomorrow looks really stormy out there. But I expect rain chances will drop pretty dramatically once we get to Wednesday, and that front makes it all the way into the Gulf of Mexico, bringing the dry air behind it down into our area. Thursday looks pretty dry as well. Friday, moisture starts to creep back in. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll see 40% chances of rain, which is about normal for this time of year. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there. Again, this seems pretty normal, seems kind of like how we started yesterday. Yesterday, we topped out in the upper 90s, though, and I don't think that happens today. Here's why. Your muggy meter shows those dew points are going to be around the same as they were yesterday as well, in the low to mid 70s. But right as we're getting to those peak heating hours where it could really get miserably hot out there, we are going to see some storms moving in. So high temperatures are expected to be in the 80s and 90s out there, but not the upper 90s, John and Kelsey, which again is the difference from this weekend and late last week.
And we laugh about it, but it does make a difference.
It does. It really does. The rain going to help us out early this week.
It helped us out yesterday, and we'll look forward to it this week as well. All right, Shelby, saw on the way in here to work as well.
Yeah,
just like Mandy was seeing.
Definitely saw some lightning strikes this morning. Right now there's this frontal boundary stationed right along the area, and that's allowing for some storm activity along the coast this morning, but I suspect it will allow for some inland storms later on. Right now you can see those storms are in southern Terrebonne Parish, stretching over across Terrebonne Bay to southern Lafourche, across Barataria Bay over to Plaquemines. So looking at your current conditions, temperatures are starting off in the 70s and 80s, and most spots are reporting clear skies and calm winds. So again, just so you know, those thunderstorms are all offshore right now. Temperatures again in the 70s and 80s. If you're thinking about getting some pool time in, might not be a bad day to do it if you can get it done early and dodge those storms. Once you can start hearing those rumbles of thunder, that's when it's time to get inside. That can start happening around lunchtime for a good portion of the area as those storms flare up. UV index today will be at a 10 until those storms move in. Temperatures will be in those upper 80s to low 90s over the next few days. If you're looking for a drier day, middle of the week toward the end of the week look much drier than today and tomorrow. Let's get over to Christy Cole. Some changes today and tomorrow that I think you're definitely going to notice. First of all, it's not going to get as hot because it's going to rain. We're seeing some showers and storms along the coast, and you may be able to even see that lightning, certainly while it's still dark out. If you look to your south, I think a lot of folks on their commute in this morning may see that lightning in the distance. Again, that is real lightning. It's not that myth heat lightning. That's real lightning. The reason you can't hear the thunder is because it's so far away. It really is down along the coast. Like we talked about, we're seeing some stormy activity in southern Terrebonne Parish, across Terrebonne Bay, across the southern tip of Lafourche Parish, Grand Isle, and over toward Plaquemines. So that continues this morning. And while the Fox 8 forecast model is not going to pick up on that perfectly, it is going to give us an idea of what to expect throughout the day. We'll see some scattered showers and storms during the morning hours, but I think it'll be around and after lunchtime that some more widespread storm activity moves across the area. Now, this is interesting, pointing out the time here, 9 p.m. this evening, and you see some storms across the area. So unlike a typical summertime day where those storms flare up from the heat of the afternoon and then die down as the sun starts to set, these storms could be flaring up all throughout the night because we're going to have a frontal boundary across the area, and that's going to serve as enough lift to get those storms going. We won't need as much heat necessarily when we've got that extra front around. Looking at tomorrow morning, more storms around. Tomorrow afternoon, more storms around. You're saying, oh no, not this rainy pattern again. Don't worry. Once we get to the middle of the week, that cold front is going to get all the way down to the coast and finally drop those rain chances for us down to about 20 to 30%. So drier conditions expected for Wednesday and Thursday. Rain chances start ticking back up to a more normal summertime pattern by the weekend. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s. Stepping out the door, it feels a lot like yesterday, but again, it's going to be different because of the extra rain today. Dew points are also in the 70s. It's feeling muggy. And that's going to have us pretty hot through the morning hours up till about lunchtime. Once those storms start flaring up, temperatures could even drop or at least hold steady. And that's why I expect that we'll get to around 90 degrees today. And that'll be about it. So upper 80s with even more rain around tomorrow, and then rain chances will be in those low 90s for the rest of the week. Again, that's right around average, a much different story than the upper 90s we had over the weekend and late last week. A reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast. You can also download the Fox 8 weather app, which is where I have that fishing forecast for you, the tide times, the ranges, the offshore wind speeds, which appear to be picking up a little tomorrow, but maybe easing back up by the middle of the week. You can see we've got nice falling tides there in Grand Isle and the Wrigley's, as well as Terrebonne and Breton Sound. And again, you can find these in the Fox 8 weather app. John, Kelsey, one more little nugget of good news. Still no development
Absolutely.
expected in the next 5 days in the tropics.
I'm going to clap every single time it happens.
It's okay.
It's been looking beautiful out
I
there.
should point out, well, maybe I won't,
I was like,
that
what?
it's August.
Oh,
that we're
okay.
creeping toward
All
the
right.
peak of hurricane
we
season.
know.
Well, that's okay.
That you
because
should be prepared.
every
Yeah.
day that goes by.
But for now, the
All right.
positive news.
Gotcha. Let's get a traffic check early.
That's right, and I think a lot of folks getting out the door are seeing that lightning in the distance and kind of being warned that storms are in the forecast today. Well, fortunately, your commute shouldn't be too troubled by the rain because all of that rain is pretty much offshore. We do have a storm that's kind of sneaking into southern Terrebonne Parish. We've got a few sneaking across the southernmost portion there of Terrebonne Bay, across Barataria Bay, over toward Plaquemines Parish. But again, it's all along the coast right now. That's not going to stay that way today. I do think we're going to have storms flaring up throughout the day, more inland. Overall, right now, though, we've got a mix of clear skies and a few clouds. That sun is just barely starting to creep some light above the horizon, and so we'll be waiting on that sunrise here shortly. Temperatures are in the 70s out there. It won't be a bad day to hop in the swimming pool if you can dodge the storms. In fact, you may want to try to get out before noon if you're trying to enjoy those last few days of summer, but that UV index at a 10 until those storms move in. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s to low 90s, so a little bit lower. Some heat relief early this week thanks to the rain. Let's get over to Christy Coleman. You can tell by the shape of it there in the distance. We've also got some high cirrus clouds out there making for a beautiful sunrise this morning. Live radar does show that we have some stormy activity along the coast. Right now you can see some storms in southern Terrebonne Parish. Also southern Plaquemines has quite the storm right now. I expect that we are going to continue to see those storms along the coast this morning. And then ultimately we're going to see some storms firing up inland later today. So let's go ahead and get through this. This is about 9 a.m. Again, I don't expect these models to be perfect, but this high resolution model does a good job of showing those storms flaring up this afternoon, possibly lasting into this evening. Now, this is a difference from a typical summertime storm setup because typically during early August, we don't have a cold front in the area. That's what's going to be sparking up these storms. Now, don't get too excited. I'm not expecting a dramatic cool down, but I am expecting some lower humidity and some lower rain chances by the middle of the week. We have to get there first, though. Tomorrow looks like another rainy day with that frontal boundary kind of draped across us. Once that boundary gets all the way to the coast, that's when our rain chances drop. So I'm going to keep those rain chances at 70% today and tomorrow. I think most of us will see rain at some point. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, I think we're dropping it down to around 20 to 30%, which means most of us won't see rain. There will just be a couple of stray storms out there. We'll get back to more normal summertime conditions by the weekend. All right. Temperatures as you step out the door this morning feel pretty close to what they felt like yesterday and the day before and the day before that. But even that's going to be changing. As we get some drier air in by the middle of the week, I expect that these dew points will go down and those overnight low temperatures may sneak down a couple of degrees for us as well. Again, not going to be a huge difference. It's an August cold front, not a November cold front. Temperatures will climb into the upper 80s to near 90 this afternoon, depending on when and if you see that rain. I expect the same for tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the low 90s by the late weekend into the weekend, but again, maybe with slightly lower humidity for Wednesday and Thursday. Quick reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast, or you can download the Fox 8 weather app if you're looking for that marine forecast.
You just put people in a better mood.
I was going to say that, Shelby. You have two bits of good news for people this morning. The tropics are still quiet.
That's
and
right.
Lower humidity later on this week.
That's right.
Happy Monday, everybody.
And less heat today because there's going to be a lot of rain around.
There you go. All good news on Monday.
So all is right with your world right now?
All is right. That should excite a lot of people to get out of bed on this Monday.
There you go.
In other words, it's better.
Exactly.
Christy.
Forecast, and Shelby has some good news in the world of weather for us, right, Shelby?
Yes, if you take an optimistic attitude, this is a great forecast. So it's going to be really stormy out there today, but the good news is it's going to be less hot, right? We're not going to see as much of that heat as we saw over the weekend or late last week, thanks to the storms. And we're looking at some stormy activity along the coast right now, but we'll still have a few dry hours to get anything you need to get done this morning. Temperatures are in the 70s out there. Not going to say that it's cool and crisp. It's not fall yet. As Kelsey and John just mentioned, it's August 2nd, so it is still going to be hot out there, especially as we climb toward that 90-degree mark. But yesterday, we topped out at 97, so a big difference today with most of the day spent in the 80s and some showers and storms expected this afternoon into this evening. Looking at tomorrow, more storms around, temperatures staying a little lower than average once again. By Wednesday, less stormy because I think those storms start to shift offshore as we see that front pushing through. So lower humidity and less stormy by the middle of the week, but at least for today and tomorrow, not quite as hot. Let's get over to Christy. She has a check. New Orleans east. Thankfully, nobody died in that storm, but gosh, every time you hear, about tornadoes, especially of that magnitude, you're always concerned about the folks there and obviously the damage left behind. Our Riverwalk camera does show a mix of sun and clouds today. I don't think tornadoes are high on our list of trouble today, but heavy rain could be. So we could see some localized flooding out there. Right now, most of the storm activity is along the coast, but it looks like some of those storms are trying to creep a little bit farther north, possibly reaching parts of Homa. Southern Terrebonne, southern Lafourche, southern Plaquemines have been seeing rain off and on all morning. You can see there's quite a storm there just south and east of Triumph, kind of moving back offshore right now. Our high resolution forecast model is now picking up well on some of that storm activity along the coast, But notice that as we get into the later morning hours, you've still got some time to get anything done that you might need to get done. If you're making the commute in, I don't expect it to be problematic rain-wise, but your commute home may not be as nice. Going through the afternoon hours, we do see storms flaring up to our west and moving across the area. Again, if we see any training of storms, which is where those storms kind of move over the same area like train cars on a track, that's where we can see some flooding potential. And that could last into tonight, because the reason we're seeing these storms is not your typical summertime heating up the atmosphere, summertime sun heating up the atmosphere, storms start to pop. Instead, the forcing isn't coming necessarily from the extreme heat, but from the frontal boundary that's over us. So there is a cold front in the vicinity. We won't really feel the effects of it until it gets all the way down to the coast. I expect that to happen on Wednesday. Here's Tuesday afternoon. You can see there's still quite a bit of rain off and on around the area. So while I do think we get dry hours, I think today and tomorrow, more than half the area is going to see rain. Most of us will see rain at some point. Take advantage of your dry hours. If you're looking for a drier day, you may find that Wednesday and Thursday as that frontal boundary pushes south. I think a lot of these storms on Wednesday could be confined to the coastal areas. And then I think we're looking a lot drier on Thursday. Moisture starts to creep back in as that front backs up on us Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Looks like we could have more typical summertime storm activity. Temperature-wise, we're in the 70s. Muggy meter shows dew points in the 70s, so it's feeling warm and muggy out there again, but I don't think we'll get quite as hot as we did yesterday or in the previous days because of that rain. We'll keep those temperatures right around average or just below through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Quick reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast. And it's August, guys, but I'm still saying no development expected in the next 5 days.
Hey, you know, as we get to the entering kind of the peak of the season, every day we go by without something gets you that much closer.
Exactly. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to say this, but I can still say it today, and I'm happy with that.
We're taking advantage of it until
Absolutely.
you can't say it anymore, Shelby.
Exactly.
All right, thanks so much, Christy Coleman.
We are taking a look at some stormy activity, as Kelsey mentioned, along the coast right now, but I expect those storms will be creeping inland. In fact, some folks in Houma are already getting some rain this morning after seeing quite the lightning show down offshore. All across the area, you could see that if you looked south this morning before that sun came up. Now we're looking at temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and we're warming up out there because that rain isn't having an effect just yet. But extra cloud cover and some rain around the area today should keep temperatures around the 90-degree mark for highs. Storms will be likely as we get past lunchtime and into the afternoon hours. So if it's dry out there for you right now, which it is for most folks, take advantage of it while we have it. Storms likely today, storms likely tomorrow. That's helping with the heat. Then less stormy, but not getting hot right away. In fact, I expect lower humidity as a frontal boundary pushes all the way to the coast. Wednesday's looking pretty good. Back to you guys.
Exciting news. It's going to storm, but I'm actually welcoming the storms for once.
It's better. You know.
A little heat relief is nice.
This might, Christy Coleman, be a sort of
Minute trip to the beach before school starts. How's that drive going to be as far as the weather's concerned?
Might have a little bit of rain on the drive if you're heading to the beach. We look like we're seeing some rain along the coast right now, but I expect more storms to be flaring up along the Gulf Coast throughout the day because of this frontal boundary that has kind of sagged into the area. We see a couple of showers that just moved through Houma. Those are going to be pushing into Lafourche Parish, and then we've also got a couple of showers in Plaquemines Parish. Beyond that, I see rain offshore, lots of lightning offshore. Just something to keep in mind for my anglers. Of course, that fishing forecast is in the Fox 8 weather app for you. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there. We're starting off about where we started yesterday, but I don't expect temperatures to get nearly as hot as they did yesterday because after lunchtime, showers and storms are going to really start flaring up and they could last into the evening hours. So I actually think high temperatures top out around 90 today and tomorrow about the same, maybe even some folks staying shy of that 90-degree mark because of the rain. Less stormy on Wednesday, and that will be as some lower humidity moves in behind that front I talked about. It's going to get all the way down to the coast. So I'll have more details on that coming up. Kelsey, back to you.
And Shelby, I was going to say, people might be kind of slowly waking up right now and hearing bits and pieces of what all of us are saying, but I know what you just said about the lower humidity coming up later this week, keeping the heat down. I know they heard that, and that hopefully perked them up as they try to get their day started.
Yeah, that comes by the middle of the week, so we're looking forward to that.
All right, Shelby, thanks so much. Christy Coleman.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of everything. Right now we're getting some sunshine. Look at all of that over the river this morning. A couple of showers and even some storms offshore. I do see some showers that are inland. Let's zoom down just a little bit here. And we saw some sprinkles rolling through Homa. I also saw some showers in northern Plaquemines. Otherwise, we're looking mostly dry out there. Most of that storm activity offshore. And it's not perfect, but our high resolution model is picking up well on the general placement of those storms. Notice as we get into the afternoon hours, so this is about 1 p.m., more storms, even some heavy storms, start flaring up to our west, and those are going to track across the area throughout the day. Even into this evening, we could have some storms. This is around 9 p.m. and I think this really emphasizes the point that this is not your typical summertime setup where we've got storms flaring up in the afternoon and then they kind of die down at night. Instead, I expect we're going to have rounds of rain around this frontal boundary that's going to be stuck over us through tomorrow. So you see all that rain through the afternoon hours of your Tuesday as well. I expect that that will help to keep temperatures down. But again, make it a bit wet outside today and tomorrow. If you're looking for some drier days to get some stuff done out in the yard, you have some dry hours this morning, but I think your dry days will come Wednesday and into Thursday. That frontal boundary that we talked about is going to push far enough south, leaving us with some drier air behind it. And that doesn't just mean dry skies. I mean drier air. We may actually have some lower humidity you'll be able to notice. 70s and 80s out there right now. The lower humidity is not here yet. As you step out the door, it is muggy right now. And it's really feeling a lot like it has the past several days. So you may be stepping out thinking, okay, here we go. Another hot summer day. It's August in southeast Louisiana. But instead, temperatures will be a little below normal, or at least close to normal today because of that extra rain around. I expect most of the day will be spent in the 80s today and tomorrow, but there may be a few spots able to get to that 90-degree mark today because of that sunshine we're seeing out there right now. If storms hold off in certain spots until lunchtime, we could hit that 90-degree mark, and then that rain starts to pop and we'll fall below it again. Looks like Wednesday, Thursday, again, those are going to be our slightly lower humidity days. Temperatures will be warm, but may not feel quite as bad as they have the past several days. And then we'll see those 90s as we go through your Friday and the weekend. A reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast. That number is 500-2888, and no development expected in the tropics. Always good news there.
We will take that.
For as long as we can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're right about that. All right, Shelby. Thanks so much.
Sunrise. You might have seen that beautiful lightning show to the south, which was all storms offshore. But now we're starting to see some showers developing back near Franklinton, south of Baton Rouge. Those are likely to spread over the next hour or two into our river parishes, and we'll be watching for that. Right now, again, big storm off of Terrebonne Parish right now. Nothing out in Terrebonne Bay, but some rain heading that way. And then I expect that we'll see some storms, as I mentioned, flaring up throughout the day across the area. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s. Sunny skies in Slidell, warming up there. We're looking at 80 degrees at the airport in Kenner with some cloud cover around. Over the next 12 hours, those temperatures are going to climb, likely into the upper 80s to near 90, and then fall again as showers and storms get going during the afternoon hours. Your next few days show temperatures right around that 90-degree mark, which is a big change from the mid to upper 90s we've been feeling. Again, today and tomorrow, it's because of the rain. But Wednesday, that front's going to push all the way offshore, bringing less storms to the area and maybe even a little lower humidity for us to enjoy. Overnight temperatures will be falling into the 70s and 80s out there, but I do think we'll have some low temperatures as we get toward the middle to end of the week. Let's get over to Christy Coleman. Sunny skies to start, but you can see that rain down along the coast right now and a few other showers and storms starting to pop up over to our west. So those are going to be streaming across the area in the next couple of hours. We'll be watching for that. We also have some storms offshore that we're keeping an eye on. But right now, most of the area is starting off dry. Some spots are even seeing sunshine, and temperatures in the 70s and 80s are right about where they were yesterday. So we're on track for a similar day to yesterday, but there's going to be a difference this afternoon as storms really start flaring up around that frontal boundary. So rather than getting into the upper 90s, I think we'll spend a good portion of the day in the upper 80s, that UV index around a 10. Let's get over to Christy Coleman for a check on traffic. Live radar, because I want to show you where we have some pop-up showers there just south of Lafitte and a few more that may be making their way into the river parishes later on. But most of the storm activity is still along the coast where it was all morning long, and your current conditions show temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there. Sunshine in Slidell and Gulfport, a mix of sun and clouds right now at the airport in Kenner and in Bogalusa. I expect that we'll see those temperatures continuing to climb toward the 90-degree mark, but after lunchtime, showers and storms will be more frequent, more widespread across the area, and so those temperatures won't be able to hold that 90 very long. So we spend most of the day in the 80s, which is a huge difference from yesterday when we topped out at 97 and late last week where we certainly had some hot days. Storms likely for tomorrow as well, so temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90. And then on Wednesday, less stormy, but still not terribly hot because we are going to see some lower humidity as a front makes it all the way offshore. Let's get over to Christy Coleman now for a check on traffic. Sunshine. I love this picture over the river from our Riverwalk camera this morning. You can see certainly some clouds out there, but a lot of sun peeking through. Now, if you were up really early this morning like we were, you might have seen that lightning show going on to the south. That was all offshore storms, and most of the storm activity is still offshore. But I want to zoom in to some storms that are starting to flare up back west of Donaldsonville right now, just north of Morgan City. Those are going to be streaming into St. James Parish here shortly. We'll be watching for the river parishes like St. John and eventually possibly even northern parts of the bayou parishes like there in Thibodaux to see some of this rain in the next hour. But again, most of the rain is still offshore. We just saw a little shower move through Galliano. We've got another little shower there just south of Lafitte. Again, mostly dry to start. Our high resolution model is not picking up perfectly on excuse me, on where the rain is, but we do have some storms that are expected to develop this afternoon. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. We're going to see some heavy rain possible during the afternoon hours, and then we'll continue to see scattered showers and storms as we go throughout the early to middle part of the week. Once we get to the middle of the week, though, I think we are going to see that storm activity shifting southward, which is going to help a lot. Rain chances will drop dramatically once that front makes it to the coast, 20 to 30%. That's pretty nice for this time of year. I think it'll be a lot better than the 70% that we're expecting today and tomorrow. Remember, 70% doesn't mean it rains all day. We will have dry hours, but it means that most of the area will see rain at some point. If you're looking for a drier day to get some yard work done or whatever else you may need to do outside, Wednesday and Thursday, I think are going to be your best bets. Friday, that rain chance will be back on the rise, and then Saturday, Sunday, we'll have some scattered showers and storms as well. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there, 83 at the airport in Kenner, 84 at the lakefront, 75 in Hammond, and your muggy meter shows dew points are looking pretty humid, mid to upper 70s out there. So you're stepping out the door this morning and saying, okay, feels a lot like yesterday, feels a lot like last week. It's going to be another hot, humid day, and it will be to start. We'll likely get up to about that 90-degree mark, and then those showers and storms are going to flare along that front, and that's going to keep temperatures in the 80s most of the day. So I have my high temperature set at 90 for today. I think a few spots could even get to 91 or 92. But most of us are going to spend most of our day in the 80s because of that rain that's coming this afternoon. That's going to be a big difference from yesterday's 97 for a high. We'll stay in those low 90s, which is right around average for this time of year, all the way through the rest of the week with some less stormy and less humid conditions Wednesday and Thursday. A reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone or download our Fox 8 weather app anytime for a forecast on the go. But this is the best news I have. It is early August. No development is expected in the next 5 days. And not to be a pessimist, but this is where we are right now. So we've got a big climb ahead of us, guys. And that's just a reminder for anybody who's been procrastinating on getting their hurricane supplies together to just make sure that they are doing that.
All of the rain and flooding we saw in May and some of the stuff we've been seeing this month and last month even should have been kind of a reminder to people, like, stuff happens fast. It doesn't have to be, you know, a big Category 5 storm for it to be serious. So hopefully people have been kind of starting to collect stuff, but like you mentioned, do it for real now.
Time to get those preparations ready, even though for this week, I'm not expecting anything to develop.
Gotcha. That's good news. Chrissy Coleman.
Lake. I don't see anything on the South Shore, nothing on the North Shore really, maybe a little blip starting to come up near Slidell there. But we see a couple of scattered showers right now that are crossing the river and a few more that will be making their way into the river parishes here shortly. We've had storms off the coast of Terrebonne Parish all morning and that continues, but most of the area is starting off dry. We're even seeing sunshine in a lot of spots with temperatures in the 70s and 80s out there. For many, temperatures are running about the same as they were yesterday, and that puts us on track for a pretty hot day. Temperatures will climb to around the upper 80s to near 90 this afternoon, but unlike yesterday when we got into the upper 90s, rain is going to help us out today. So that'll be the difference this afternoon. I think a few more showers and storms around will help to keep temperatures a little bit lower. Still, we're going to have a warm day tomorrow, but again, storms around keeping it from getting out of control, and then less stormy weather, lower humidity, and sunnier skies expected by Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. Christy is